Welcome back, everyone, to Beyond Well. I am so excited to tell you we are in season 2. Officially.
What?
Yes, I know. Somebody asked me how I decided to come to season 2, and I said because there is this thing in podcasting where 90% of podcasters drop out by the 24th episode. And I was like, we're going to make it to the 24th episode before we have season 2. So congratulations, Dr. Brian Goff and Dr. Jenna Lejeune. Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks to our audience who's listening. That's awesome.
And thanks to, of course, our sponsors, including the Foundation for Excellence in Mental Health Care. We love those guys. And if you're enjoying the podcast, please consider supporting them at our website. I'm so psyched to have Haley Johnsen in studio today. First of all, because I love a story about people who try very hard to get what they want in this world. And I don't think I've ever met a musician who is so determined to achieve her dream than you, Haley.
Oh, thank you, Sheila.
I'm not kidding you. It's like, I think people see you and they think, she's super talented, she was American Idol, she has everything going for her, but I actually know how hard you work to get what you want.
Yeah, it's a grind.
Yeah. What's your touring and performing schedule been like for the past, 6 months?
Gosh, well, at the start of the year, this has been the craziest year of my life. It started with a month-long tour in Europe through Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. That was all of February. And then I was home for 2 days, and I went on tour with this DJ named Big Wild. I learned how to play bass in Europe so I could be his bass player and backup singer. So I was on tour with a totally different genre of music for the entire month of March, and then home for 2 days again. And then I went on tour with this band Joseph. You guys know Joseph from Portland.
So fantastic.
I opened for them for dozen shows or something.
Wow.
So it's been a wild year.
And then, so I know you've been playing on the sub stages for Michael Franti. How do you learn that he wants you to open for him on the main stage?
Well, that actually came about because I have been playing the BritFest Garden stage for a long time.
Yeah.
Just trying to, make myself known, and it's such an amazing venue. And I got to know the man who books there, and he just happened to need an opener last minute for him. So I've only done that one show with Michael Franti.
It's so great, though, when that happens. I mean, you learn in theater, like all of the women, the main actresses of our time that got their break because somebody else had a cold or couldn't show up. Or, totally. I always say just be ready for that moment, when they actually need you to jump in.
Yeah.
So let's hear a little bit of your new music, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to play you guys a song called I'll See You Around. It was written by myself and Slater Smith of The Weather Machine, a Portland band here in town, and it's just kind of about telling that inner critic in your mind to just zip it for a second. You're gonna be in your power and move on with your life. So here we go. I'm on a mission to break my condition. I've been wishing for another way out, 'cause I feel all this doubt when I think about it. I keep thinking about it. It's going around. So look at me now. I'm the tip on the counter. I'm the jam in the jar. I'm on my way out. So if you're on your way out, if you're coming with me, like Clyde or like Bonnie, then I'll see you around. I'm breaking the silence, fist full of violence, rope tied around my hands. I gotta get out. I scream and I shout. You don't know what love is, or what caring about is. Man, you're tearing me down. So look at me now. I'm the tip on the counter. I'm the jam in the jar. I'm on my way out. So if you're on your way out, if you're coming with me, like Clyde or like Bonnie, then I'll see you around. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, we got issues. My whole life I've been trying to get you to understand that I am who I am. But you say my reflection is just a deception. I can't learn my lesson, it's messing me up. Look at me now. I'm the tip on the counter. I'm the jam in the jar. I'm on my way out, so if you're on your way out, if you're coming with me, like Clyde or like Bonnie, then I'll see you around. Ooh, ooh.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
Is that from On Golden Days?
It is.
Wow, it's gorgeous.
Wow. Thank you.
What a way to start a Monday.
No kidding, right? I know.
Just wake up. Yep.
Pause your podcast and rewind a couple of minutes and listen to that again.
So Haley was one of you were a runner-up on American Idol? How far did you get?
I made it to the top 24.
Top 24. Yeah. And I thought, okay, so you get on American Idol and every music producer in the country comes out and they're going to actually take all of the great talent, whether or not you're number one or number two. It's not the case, is it? I mean, you don't get a studio deal just because you made it in the top 24.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So what was it like? After you learned, like, okay, I did this, I exposed myself to all these people and got all these millions of fans, and yet the studios haven't called.
Right. I feel like those shows, they're amazing for, especially now that Instagram's more popular, and it's an amazing opportunity for exposure and gaining a fan base. Back then, Instagram was just kind of starting out. It was just kind of starting out. And, there was kind of this hope that it would land a deal with an agency or something like that. But at the end of the day, it's really rare for somebody to actually get a career going from those shows. I mean, I feel like you still have to do a lot of the legwork yourself, and you can't rely on, this little 15-minute moment of fame to make it all happen. It's so much more than that.
You said when we were discussing before the show that the biggest obstacle for a person like you who really wants to go after your dreams is creating the financial stability to do it, and then also fighting the self-doubt. So start with the self-doubt. I really want to hear about the finances and how the amazing ways that you've made this happen.
Sure.
But I think for most people your age, self-doubt is such a huge part of being human.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and especially today. I think when I was on the show, that was a huge battle for me because that was the first time that I'd really exposed myself to to singing in public. And I was going through so many battles in my mind, and it was a really huge threshold I was having to cross over. And then receiving the feedback, like reading the YouTube comments, and like that was like really, really rough to have to, see what people were saying about me. And they told us, don't read the YouTube comments. And then, of course, everyone's like, what are they saying?
Yeah, of course. First thing you do.
Yeah. And then, the self-doubt, as you go along doing music, it's just, you have to really build a backbone for yourself, because not everyone's going to love your music. And you have to be the one who's leading the pack and who's the most confident with it. And I'm learning as I go that I can't rely on, this person said they like it, so it must be good, or this person, I got this many likes on this photo, or this many streams on this, song. It's, you have to love what you're doing and believe in it so much that you're just never going to stop, and you got to just keep pushing it.
You guys, the reason I asked Haley to come in is because I think that the position she's in is so exemplifies what it's like to be young today, and to have this extraordinary ability, but to also have to kind of sell that ability to a populace that is going to immediately judge you.
Sure.
So it's like a person in Haley's position doesn't have the option of not being on social media. Mm-hmm. And yet it's the thing that is going to be the most helpful to her and also the most hurtful, right?
Sure.
And so what I wanted to explore is, how do you put it in a healthy perspective, not just for performers, but for every young person? How do you have an identity that is your own? How do you have a passion that you love and that you don't care whether or not people support you or think you're any good at it?
Yeah, Haley, what you said about, I think you said you kind of have to grow your own backbone. And the way that I would sort of understand that is, or, my language for that would be, you have to have something that you care about more than what they think of you.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's going to keep you going. So,
absolutely.
And what they think of you is both the people on YouTube and your own self-critic, and even the music execs. Like, you're still doing this, even if you didn't get the big, label contract yet. I don't even know the right terminology for that.
Yeah, that's actually what they call it.
Is it?
Label contract.
Yeah.
I think it's called pot of money. Really. That's essentially what it is,
pot of
right?
money.
Yeah, the pot of money.
I will tell you, one of the most horrifying things, and an amazing tool today that we have as musicians, for us to get close to the music execs and get close to the playlists. And there's a website called SubmitHub, and you pay like $1 to $3 per submission of one song at a time, and you have all these filters. You're like, okay, well, I'm a singer-songwriter, pop music, rock, whatever, and you can pitch your song to all these people who God knows how long they're spending all day listening to multiple songs, and you'll see how long they listen to it, and you're and then they give you feedback.
Wow.
I'll submit a song and be like, okay, I'm just gonna put myself out there, and I'll get all declines on a song, and they'll be like, it just wasn't catchy enough for me, or like I didn't dig the vocals, and I'm just like,
that's your art.
so I have to read,
God.
and they listen to 30 seconds, and
you keep going. I mean, that's the thing. That's that backbone, or kind of in Brian and my language, that's the values piece. That there's something that matters more to you about doing this than the approval of somebody else. That is not to say that the approval wouldn't also be great.
Right.
I hope that for you.
But the approval is it's tough because, in one sense, I know not everyone's going to dig what I'm doing, but you have to have approval in order to get a larger fan base and to get your music out there. So it's this really weird
You're in a
balance.
Yeah, very awful catch-22.
Yep.
Yeah.
You have to love what you're doing, and I love the fact that that's the thing that you lead with. But you're right. If you want to give up your day job and make a living doing this, then you actually do need the approval.
Right.
But the YouTube, I think, Sheila, to your point, the average listener is not trying to get a record contract. They're just spending a lot of time seeing how many likes they get on a Facebook post or an Instagram post or something.
But it's the same sort of thing, right?
Except that except that for Haley, she has to get someone to like it.
Oh, yes.
In order to get the gig or to get the deal or to get the big pot of money or whatever, right? But, as far as looking at things like the comments on the YouTube or the social media stuff, I sort of think that there are people out there who you sing and play, and there are other people who just like to hate on social media, and that's sort of like what they do. And of course, it's not representative, right? I mean, it's like I look at a restaurant and I think, oh, there's like 2 Yelp reviews. I guess only 2 people have been to this restaurant. No, right? Like all day, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people went to that restaurant, and they'll go again. But they don't hop on and be like, yeah, it was really delicious. It was great. And I actually made a recommendation to a friend to come here. But if somebody, for whatever reason, gets bad service or doesn't like what they eat, they're like, I'm going to put that on Yelp.
But isn't that a beautiful metaphor, though, for what our minds do? Like, our minds are constantly giving us all of this information and feedback, and yet the things that we cling to are those, like, 2 really grumpy reviews that our mind gives us. It's like, you're just a piece of crap. Oh, well, that's the one that I'm going to take as true.
Right, that just ruined my whole week.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So you had a wonderful way of saying, look, this is my career. I'm going to do this by starting a Kickstarter program. So what was that like to say, I believe in myself so much that I'm going to ask other people to support me in the creation of my album?
Kickstarter is one of those things where I have no other choice but to ask for help as an independent artist. I've done 2 Kickstarters now. The second one was this little smaller donation. I raised just over $7,000 for this last one, and I worked up the courage to do the Kickstarter because I read Amanda Palmer's Art of Asking, which is an amazing book. Yeah. She's like the first person who she got like the $1 million Kickstarter going. And I don't know, just not being afraid to be vulnerable and put yourself out there and ask for help. And you'd be amazed at how many people show up and will want, like I had a guy in Boston who walked by an open mic I was playing at a couple of years ago at the Star Theater patio. He heard me singing and looked at my music and was really excited about it, and he donated $1,000 to my Kickstarter for a solo house show. So he's flying me out this week to play a show for his birthday in Boston.
So cool.
And, it's just like little things like that. Like, it's really a gift that we have that tool. And I really always encourage people, if they're in a position to not, if they can't afford to make their art, just don't be afraid to ask for help.
So one of the things that it always strikes me is that we think about musicians being in such a different realm. Like they have guitars and they have bands and they're on the road. But in many ways, what we are all doing is attempting to try to have other people buy what we're selling. You guys are selling your counseling, your wisdom. I'm selling my ability to be a communicator. And so what I want to talk about is what are the underpinnings of self-confidence, of being able to get to this place where we so believe in what it is we have to offer that we can do? What are some of the things we can start thinking about?
Well, I mean, from my perspective, I think I'm just speaking now as Jenna the human, not Jenna the psychologist.
Yeah.
Jenna the human, I have to know what matters to me. And as soon as I'm really clear that I have, like, this really means something to me and I have passion for this, then the people that kind of are also interested in that same thing, they'll be drawn to that. And then the rest of the folks who aren't interested in that thing that's really meaningful to me, well, they're not my tribe. They're not the ones that I, in your language, sort of need to be selling to anyway. So for me, it sort of starts with that self-knowledge of knowing, like, this is my backbone. This is the thing that really matters to me.
That's so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you need followings, right? You need somebody to hire you.
Yeah.
But it also seems like you have to be, and this is not the right way to say it, but this is what's showing up in my head. You have to kind of be your first fan.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Sure.
you have to
that's
decide.
beautiful.
Like,
Sure.
That's beautiful.
Like, I care about this, and this touches me, whether it's something I wrote or whether it's something you you write and sing and perform, that it's like this is important to me, and it would be lovely if some people got on board with it.
Yeah.
Because not because then it's worthwhile, not because then it's good, just then I get to do more of it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right?
exactly
That it's
right.
an end into itself. And as you have followings and Kickstarter contributions and all of that, then it's like, yay, I get to do this more often.
Right. Exactly.
And can I say one more thing about
Sure.
confidence, though? Because I think people think of confidence as this feeling that you get. It's sort of like, okay, I'm going to sit here and wait until I feel confident, and then I'm going to do it. Like, Haley, my guess is when you signed up to be on American Idol or when you signed up for Kickstarter, you probably did not feel confidence.
Oh, you're white knuckling the
Yeah,
whole time.
absolutely. And so the thing,
Totally.
confidence actually comes from this conjunction, a Latin word, confidelity, meaning with faith. And it's a verb. You're acting with faith in yourself. It's not a
that's beautiful.
feeling. It's a I am going to act with faith in myself despite how I'm feeling.
That's
That's
so
what
good.
confidence is.
When we were talking about that, Haley, like just the rigors of what you have to do, you're in a van, you're with a bunch of other guys in your band. It's like not the best, most conducive thing
Stinky.
to health, but you really carve out a place for yourself to make yourself well, especially when you're feeling anxiety ridden or, slightly depressed. Talk
Yeah,
about that if you would.
I really try. This year I've struggled with anxiety and all, so it's been the most intense in my life. I don't know if it's just because I'm traveling so much and my body is not used to that, or I'm just putting myself out there more. But man, I've really just, I don't know, I've had to take time to be alone, to just sit and breathe, to go be out in nature. I just spent, 3 days camping with no cell phone reception. And on one hand, I was like, I'm not used to this. And on the other, it was so healing.
Yeah.
And honestly, just talking about what the things I'm anxious about with other people is really helpful. And, it's kind of one of those things I'm realizing is it's always going to be there, but am I going to latch onto it and let it pull me down and paralyze me, or am I going to rise above it? And there's a reality of terrible, awful things happening to anybody all the time, and that's the things I worry about. But I truly just want to be a more present, happy, peaceful person, and that's every day I try to do that.
I absolutely love that you just sort of acknowledged, you didn't find the secret to make anxiety go away. It's not like you went camping and, I don't feel anxious anymore.
Yeah, totally.
But this idea that you can do things so that anxiety is not running the show for you.
Right.
And that's really what's important, right? You want to be able to be present in your life to the things that matter, even when anxiety is there. And I think that's the message that we don't hear very often. We hear this kind of false message of, I used to be really anxious and not confident, but now I'm very confident and I'm not anxious anymore. I want to be
Forever
that
changed.
person.
I'm cured.
Right.
Yeah,
Do you
now
know
I'm
about
all right.
that pill?
Right.
It's a
It's a
bestseller.
campsite. It's a campsite.
Well, and
apparently.
because it's as you build belief in yourself and you have more confidence in the traditional sense of confidence,
Right.
I've got this, then you reach a little further, and now you're on the edges of you're on the circumference of the circle that contains all the things that you're good at or that you've done before, and then you feel a little bit of anxiety about that, and then that becomes comfortable, and you reach a little further, and then the
Right.
anxiety shows up again, of course. And one of the things that I sometimes talk to the folks that I work with about is they will look to distract from their anxiety. I just need to stay busy, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. Sort of and I wish that the visuals were here, but if you had a flashlight that had a narrow beam and it's staring at the anxiety, and what you're trying to do is move it over here so that you look at that, and you're like, I'm not feeling anxious. I'm not feeling anxious. I get out of my head. I'm not having those thoughts. It's okay. I'm fine. I'm breathing.
So true.
And I like to think of it more like the the flashlights that allow you to go from a beam to a flood, where it's like, okay, I've just spread out the light, and I can still see the anxiety, but not just the anxiety. I see the anxiety and this other thing, and I can make room for it. Sometimes Jenna and I use this term expansion when we talk about that kind of thing, where it's like I have room for these other things, especially the things I really care about, and anxiety gets to come along for the ride.
Right.
Because you've pointed out before, Jenna, that anxiety in its most pure form is all the things we kind of like. It's like heart racing because it's exciting.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm so like, it's almost like love a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, physiologically, anxiety is almost exactly the same as excitement.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
It's just how our minds mess with us.
Yeah.
Thank my mind.
But this, to me, Haley, is so important, especially for young women your age, because I do think there's a little remapping of brains that are going on by the constant checking on phones.
Yeah.
How am I doing? What are my numbers like? Who's doing what? And why aren't I doing what they're doing? And the comparison thing. Like, how are you coping with the idea that Haley Johnsen is on this path and this is my path, and that I am not comparing myself to Rihanna today anyway.
How do I not do that on a daily basis?
At least for this moment, right?
Right. Well, something that I've really tried to be more mindful of is that what I'm doing, I really want to be aware of not doing this for my own egotistical reasons. And, I want to be like rich and famous. And, that's a part of what the music business and entertainment industry is about. But like, I forget sometimes that what I'm doing is like, it means something to people, and it helps people. Like, I've had, people reach out to me and tell me how much my latest album has helped them get through something, or they woke up, they couldn't sleep at 4 a.m, they just turned my album on, and like it brought them peace. And I'm just like, holy crap, like that's what it's all about. Like, this is so much bigger than me. Like, I'm not saying I'm a savior and I can help everybody, but like, if my own, idiosyncrasies and ways of putting that out in the world helps someone else feel less alone in their struggle, then like, I have to do everything in my power to keep doing that, even if it scares me.
Yeah, even if it means anxiety is going to show up and self-doubt's going to come along. Like, if you can keep your eye on, but maybe I could do something that could make a difference in this world to other people, or to contribute in some way that's meaningful to me.
Yeah.
When you can keep your eye on those things, as well as like noticing the anxiety that's there, like, that's what makes it worth it.
Yeah.
I would think.
It's very it is exciting.
Yeah, right. See?
And I'll just say, Haley, I've probably interviewed like 500 young artists, and the thing that really determines those who actually go on is that marker that you just noted. It becomes less about my goal is to become a star, because those people burn out very quickly when they realize they don't have enough fortitude to keep going, because it's such a difficult path. And they realize, no, I'm an artist, and this is the art that I'm creating in this world right now.
Yeah.
I honestly think enjoy this next song, because it's not going to be very long before we won't be able to buy your tickets, which would be a good thing, right?
I'll always get you backstage pass.
Okay, so this one's called Cinderella. You want to tell us anything about it?
Yeah. Yes. So this song was written... I came home from a tax appointment last year, and I was very sad when I got home, just feeling very defeated. Hold on. Get this tuned up. And I came home and sat at my piano, and I was just like, something's got to come out here. And I looked up at my ceiling, and there's spider webs everywhere, and my house smelled terrible because I forgot to take the garbage out. And I was just overall feeling really pathetic. Like, I need to do better. I need to be a better adult. How am I ever going to be successful? How am I ever going to feel like financially secure if I don't do better? And as I wrote this song, I sort of realized I needed to give myself more grace, and realize that like it's it's all going to be okay. and it's okay that I'm at where I'm at right now. So just make sure this is in tune for you guys. So it's called Cinderella. Sorry. I've had 3 cups of coffee and I'm on my 4th again. Forgot to take the trash out, this week's filling to the brim. There's spiders on the ceiling and they're watching me get by. I'm standing on the sidelines tonight. But when I wake up, I'll run the wash and clean the wine up off the rug. Yeah, I'm a fired up Cinderella, just trying to keep up. Yeah, I'm dying to be someone. I've seen my mother smiling, walking with a ball and chain. I've heard my father crack a joke through all his aches and pains. Oh, to keep the lights on for my brother and I, just knowing it'll be alright. But when I wake up, I'll run the wash and clean the wine up off the rug. Yeah, I'm a fired up Cinderella, just trying to keep up. Yeah, I'm dying to be someone. Sometimes when I can't sleep and my stomach churns with each heartbeat, I imagine my hands open wide, letting go of all my pride. When I I'll run the wash and clean the wine up off the rug. Yeah, I'm a fired up Cinderella, just trying to keep up. Yeah, I'm dying to be someone. Yeah, I'm dying to be someone.
Haley Johnsen, wow. So unbelievable to have you in again. Thank you so much.
So much.
And so back to social media, people can follow you at Haley Johnsen.
Sorry. Yeah, they can follow me at Haley Johnsen MUS. So
yeah, Haley Johnsen Music.
And that's Haley Johnsen with an SEN, not an SO.
That's right. Thanks again, Haley.
Thank you guys so much.